Can you lose 27 pounds of fat in 3 months? You're goddamn right you can. But what if I told you that you can lose more fat by doing so much less? We seem to think that to get into great shape, you need to suffer and die trying, but that's only the case if you're making all the same mistakes Ishi was making. Now this video is not about me or her transformation, it's about you and how you can learn from the mistakes she was making and the adjustments which she made, which literally melted away the fat faster than a scoop of ice cream on a hot sunny day. And I'll be breaking down every single thing she did to lose those 27 pounds, but most importantly, the key detail on how she maintained her weight loss without insanely rebounding. And all you have to do is just simply copy the entire system I'm about to reveal. And I'll even tell you later on the video how eating this chocolate can help you lose more fat. Now, Ishi's a normal person, not an athlete. She's always had a full-time job. She's always been a fat kid. She tried training and dieting, but never got anywhere, no matter how hard she tried.
I used to feel heavy, don't have any confidence in what I'm wearing. I hate wearing like open clothes. I'm always wearing hoodies and all. And I used to hate going to the gym because I feel everyone's gonna judge me and be like, oh, this girl, what she's doing here. And I always felt like I'm that fat, ugly girl in the group. I tried everything. I used to hate counting calories, but now I can eat whatever I want, I can wear whatever I want, and I have confidence as well.
When Ishi started my program, she told me she wanted good posture, a bigger butt, to be able to do some pull-ups, and to lose her belly. So I asked her what program was she following before that. So she pulled out her phone and begins to show me all these fitness influencers she's following. And it says 20 minutes at home, no equipment needed, no sweat required, with a picture of their shredded body drenched in sweat as the thumbnail, which they didn't even get from doing this shitty program they're selling.
Hello, Ishi. Show us what you were doing now. Oh my God. There's more. Oh my God, that's fixing your posture as we speak. Lord Jesus, please bless this child.
Now, if you want to build your dream body, then do not follow a program that has nothing to do with what you want. It's like trying to bake a cheesecake, but following a recipe that shows how to cook pigeon soup. No shit, you're going to be demotivated if that's how you approach things. Now, if you want posture, and you do fuck all, you're not going to get it. You get posture by lifting weights and focusing on that posterior musculature. You get a bigger butt or chest by lifting weights, putting tension on those muscles and progressively overloading them, not by jumping around like a ninja turtle. So think of yourself like a business. Every exercise you do in the gym is a big investment. Ask yourself, is this worth it? Is this relevant to my goal? Do I need to do burpees? Is it going to help me with my posture or building the shape I need? Fuck no. Then drop it immediately. Every single thing you do has to have a purpose, a reason behind why you do it. Because if you use your precious time and energy to go to the gym, you best believe you're going to fucking optimize that.
Hey guys, so Ishi is going to explain to us now what she used to do for her butt, trying to grow it.
Now, doing that, if your goal is to build bigger legs, is like digging a hole with a spoon instead of a shovel. So stop doing shitty exercises. The squat she was doing is good for maybe rehabbing an injury, training balance and stability. But if you want to build a body that breaks people's necks as they turn back to check you out, do exercises in which you can load heavy weight on and smash the shit out of that muscle. All these TikTok workouts are distractions from what you really need. And if you're wondering what makes an exercise a good exercise to build muscle, look at these 3 things. How good is this stretch and tension throughout the movement? Does it feel good? And can you easily progress it? So instead of her doing her initial squat, which she was struggling to on the platform, she was spending all her energy on just balancing whilst lifting no weight. She could have easily done a back squat and it would have let her sit and get a deep stretch whilst keeping tension throughout the entire exercise. It would have felt so much better, and she could even easily add weight and progress it, and it would really give her the shape which she wanted. But since she was squatting on the Bosu, initially she was working so hard, and that's what I like to call a mousetrap. It's just an illusion, making you think that you're progressing because you're really just working hard. But don't fall into the trap of just chasing fatigue. Imagine you were playing your favorite video game, and every time you defeat a boss, instead of progressing to the next level, you just go back to the same level and keep fighting him again and again and again. You get fatigued doing it, and think you're getting better, but in reality, you're not making any real progress. So always keep trying to make things more challenging. If you're squatting 3 sets of 12 reps with 80 kgs, try to aim to make that 85 kgs, or do a longer pause at the bottom. And then the next month, that 85 becomes easy, so you aim for 90. And the next thing you know, you started with a body that squatted 50, and then you ended up with one that squats 100. And the body that squats 100 looks much more different than the one that squats a 50. The best way to progressively overload would be to increase the weights you lift. You could also increase the reps, but different rep ranges have different purposes. So you're better off staying in the same rep range. Now, the lower the rep range from like 1 to 5 reps is a bit more strength focused. 6 to 15 is more hypertrophy focused, and anything after that really challenges the endurance. But you can change your body working through all the ranges. You can also make the exercise a bit more challenging by pausing at the bottom, doing slower negatives. And what if I told you that the notepad on your phone can drastically impact how your body can go from this to this? After every session, you should write down the weights you lift on your phone's notes. Then you know where you stand. You don't just guess and randomly lift things. You have some direction of where you aim, and it helps you progress massively. Or you're gonna be a hamster on a hamster wheel, stuck doing the same shit, looking the same for years. And that's the key difference between exercising and training. People who exercise don't really even look like they train because they just mindlessly do shit. But we, however, we are going to train and look like it. And as you train, you build muscle memory. So if you stop training, you can easily regain what you built. And research shows that it's so much faster than what we even thought. And that's primarily how most people stay in shape and keep it off, because the moment they stop, okay, it's a bad phase, but they can get back on track so quickly because they train themselves systematically and progress themselves properly. But if you just do random things, you're not really building muscle memory. And here's the simplest way to follow this. Make sure that every single week when you're lifting weights, you're trying to go heavier day after day in a squat pattern, hinge pattern, a lunge pattern, a vertical pull pattern, a horizontal pull pattern, a pushing pattern, a vertical press pattern, and some arm work. So stop winging it. Start tracking the weights you're lifting and continue leveling up. Every time you hit a new PR, there's nothing that feels better than changing that number in your notes to a higher one. How many times were you training on a weekly basis when you first started training?
I was training every day, no rest at all.
Every day?
Yeah.
This is Walt and this is Jesse. They both started trying to lose fat and they were previously doing no exercise. Now Walt started training 6 days a week and Jesse started off with just 2 days a week. 6 months later, Walt put an additional 2 kilos on, but Jesse lost 8 kilos. Yeah, bitch! Now from going training to 0 times a week to 6 days a week, it's like shotgunning a beer. At first you're gonna feel fine, then it gets harder and you start to gag or vomit. So don't make the mistakes of overcommitting, because when you commit and don't show up, you're gonna feel like a failure, putting yourself in this whole losing state of mind. So if you currently train once a week, make it twice. If your step count is 3,000, make it 4,000. If you eat junk food 5 days a week, make it 3 or 4 days a week. Look for these small wins because they add up over time massively. Every beautiful building that was built one small brick at a time. At first it seems like nothing, but over time you'll be a nice, big, strong, beautiful building.
99. Come on, one more. Go. 100. Go. 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 Well done, Yishi. Well done. What'd you eat today?
I ate a cat. I ate chicken, rice, and sweet potatoes.
But we saw something else in your bag though.
What?
Some biscuits.
No, you're imagining, man. Calm down.
Can I check?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Let me lead the way for you.
Motherfucking biscuits.
Hey, you can open here, yeah. You see, there's nothing. You see? No, this is haram. This is haram. Oh? It's not mine. Someone put it here. They want to frame me. Cheers.
This one is the biggest one of all and I see everyone making it. Now raise your hand and repeat after me. I don't have to starve myself to lose fat. I just need to stay in a small calorie deficit over time. This way, I can lose fat gradually and not want to slice my toes off. But most importantly, I eat the foods I love so I can stay happy and keep losing fat. Because if I'm sad, I will not do anything. Everything we do has to be sustainable. Can you drink 2.5 liters of water every day? You probably could. But can you give up all your favorite foods forever? You can't. Can you go from struggling to working out once a week to 6 days a week? No, you're not gonna last. And to start getting great results, all you have to do is make these small, lasting changes. You do not have to suffer and eat foods you hate that would destroy your relationship with food and give you an eating disorder. That's why I hate meal plans. Someone telling you what to eat every day, but you hate it all. It's fucking 3 p.m. I'm drowning in work. Where the fuck am I going to get a 500-gram grilled chicken avocado sandwich smothered by lemons? And then you're expected to stop eating all the foods you love, which you've been having your entire life all of a sudden. Do it. And then you have nightmares. You're a Fruit Loop drowning in a bowl of cereal whilst Tony the Tiger is trying to sweet talk you. Huh? Instead, what I want you to do is look at the amount of calories you can eat as a budget, like you do with your money. Every time you consume something, you spend a part of that budget. All you have to do is stay within your budget and you're going to lose fat. And if you exceed your budget, you're going to end up in debt, putting on more fat. It doesn't matter what you eat, you will lose fat. But obviously, we want to prioritize nutrient-dense foods and not eat like a teenager. For majority of us, foods are happiness. Most people work a job they don't like. We're in stressful relationships. We're going through all kinds of shit. And if you were to take away the one thing which we love that keeps us going, you can expect all hell to break loose. So do not go from 100 to 0. Instead of stopping your pizza, maybe eat a slice or two less. Instead of eating chocolate every day, do every alternate day. If you can't give up drinks on the weekend, okay, then make sure that you double down on your steps the night before. After you succeed with these, you gain confidence in discipline. Then you have more control. You're in better shoes to decide what stays and what goes. But the real problem starts when you start starving yourself by cutting calories way too low. You're going to be at work with no energy to train or be active, and you become moody. So keep the calorie deficit from food by somewhere around a daily 500 deficit. Because if you do that for 1 week, that amounts to a deficit of 3,500 calories, which is basically 1 pound of fat gone. Do that for a month and it's 4 pounds of fat. And to speed up the process, we burn an additional 500 calories from just walking and training. And then you'd be losing around 8 pounds a month, and that would be around 24 pounds in 90 days without any major changes. All you're doing is cutting out a little bit less junk, trying to stay within your budget, being a bit more active, and lifting weights. But the number one reason why everyone gets stuck and hits a dead end with their progress is because they did not readjust their calories. Say you lose 10 pounds. You can't keep doing whatever you did until the end of eternity because your body's caloric needs change according to your new weight. You were like a bigger truck that needed more fuel or more calories to operate, but once you became a smaller sedan, the amount of fuel and calories you need reduces quite a bit. So you either need to be burning more calories or consuming less to keep losing fat. Or you're going to stay stuck in a plateau and you're going to be moody at everyone. So for the sake of our society, please don't forget to readjust your calories. Please. I don't want to see you moody. But when I say readjust your calories, it doesn't mean you need to eat less. You could be eating more and losing even more fat. And I'm right about to show you how. Biggest thing she struggled with was her hunger. You know, she was like Godzilla all the time. You know, anything she could find, she eat it left, right, and center. So we had to really work hard on that.
Yeah, it was really, really hard to start doing a diet, especially for someone who loves food, who pray for food. It was really hard for me.
Why are you praying for food?
Man, I love food. Food is my comfort. So when I first doing the diet, it was really hard because I was always hungry, especially in the night. Oh my God, the thoughts of eating ice cream in the night.
Some crazy things happening in the night. It's always the night, guys, when something happens.
Yeah, like, you know, the whole day I'll be fine and then the night comes and the devil thoughts comes also.
Nothing good happens after 2 a.m., guys. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
After 6 p.m.
After 6 p.m.? Oh my God. Now, what if I told you you can eat double the amount of food for the same amount of calories? Now, both these foods I'm about to show you are portions worth of 200 calories. The strawberries will take up a large portion of your diet, but those Oreos, you can demolish them in seconds and probably eat another 100 of them. You know you're going to get hungry. So take advantage of volume eating. Not doing this is like going into war without a gun. I'm not saying eat a fucking strawberry when you want an Oreo. I'm just showing you the difference in volume of food you can eat at the same calorie level. Here's a list of high volume foods. If you like any of these, you're lucky. Slap them into your diet as soon as possible. They'll really help you feel full and stay within your budget and not make you do the crazy things you do when no one's watching. I'm watching. I know what you're doing.
Stop eating chips with Nutella in the middle of the night. I swear, my roommate was like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because I was eating it like I was hiding while eating it. I swear.
Why are you hiding?
The reality when it comes to hunger is that we don't really need to struggle. You're probably thinking, this guy's crazy. I'm an animal. I just want to eat all the time. Yes, I know, I understand. But I know how to tame animals. Wild animals. They call me on the street the kitty whisperer. So one of the best ways to combat hunger is to stop neglecting your protein, fiber, and water intake. Because when you consume those three, you feel so much fuller than other foods. Now imagine it's your pizza day. You want to eat some pizza for lunch. But before it's your lunch, if you were to drink at least a liter of water, get in at least 50% of your protein daily intake, and maybe about 15 grams of fiber, your appetite is going to go from a hunting lion to a fat, smelly cat. So protein, water, and fiber are black belts in making you feel full. Take a look at this list of high protein and fiber foods. I want you to select at least 3 to 5 from each category, the ones you like or the ones you hate the least. Then you search for what combinations of meals you can make with these foods. Play around with them. And to help increase your water intake, get a nice water bottle, one which you actually like and you would keep around you all the time. Don't let it leave your sight, because when it's out of sight, it's out of mind. You'd be surprised about how much better you feel by just doing this. There was even a study done with 2 people. One increased their calorie intake by 200 calories from protein, and the other reduced their total calorie intake by 200. The group that increased their calories lost more fat and gained muscle. In contrast, the group that cut their calories lost mainly muscle and only just a little bit of fat. So really prioritize those intakes. They'll do wonders for you. For protein, look for 1 to 2 grams per kg of body weight. For fiber, look for 15 grams for every 1,000 calories you eat. And try to get at least 2 to 3 liters of water every single day. So Ishi, tell us about a time where, during a journey, you felt like you just want to quit. Rock bottom was the worst part of it.
I think it was like one evening, so I checked my weight and it was higher than usual, and I literally freaked out, crying the whole night. My roommate thought like I broke up with someone or someone is dead in my family. I swear. But I went back the next morning to the workout and I was like, okay, let me just give it one more chance and see what will happen. After 1 week, I checked the weight and it was lower than before. So it was good.
Now, a common mistake you might be making is not tracking your progress properly. And more often than not, by using one of the worst things we could possibly use, the weighing scale. Now, let's imagine you wanted to check your bank balance to see how much money you have. You'd have a rough estimate, but it won't show your credit card debt, your cash, or the assets you own. So you could weigh 70 kilos, completely transform your body, losing 10 kilos of fat and putting on 10 kilos of muscle, but the scale won't tell you that. Neither does the scale show the amount of water you're currently holding. If you drank 1 liter of water that day, it would show you as 1 kilo heavier. And then you're gonna think you're not progressing because of this one stupid number. Now look, I know that you care about that number, but I need you to start letting it go. And not just the scale, but all these body scans, they don't work. Back in the day, we actually worked together. We were working in a fitness school where I was teaching the personal trainers, and she was my slave, my personal assistant. The company also sold fitness equipment, and it sold these body scans to check your body fat percentage, your muscle mass, all that stuff. And they sold some of the most expensive equipment there is in the world. And I would put her, and I would put some of my other clients as well onto those scans. I'll make them do the same scan at least 3 times back to back. All 3 times we did the scan, we're getting completely different answers. These scans are not something you can reliably track your progress with. If you want to check your fat loss, measuring the widest part of your belly is the best way to do it, because that's the part you want to see disappear into a different galaxy. You're going to grab the tape, you're going to wrap it around your belly. You're going to make sure that it's around the widest part of your belly. You're going to also make sure that it's not loose, it's nice and tight against the skin, but not to a point where it's pushing in. And then you're going to find that number. Oh my God. And then you're going to cry after that.
What's the number?
So for fat loss, we use just the belly, because if you use your thighs, for example, maybe you put on some muscle and some size from all the squats you were doing. So if you want to track how much muscle you've put on, then use the tape on those body parts. Just keep in mind again, most people lose fat everywhere around their body and their belly might go away last. Now to have a good, amazing, clearer visual view, take pictures of yourself and you'll get to a point where you're making such good, highly visible progress. But best of all, you need to see if you're performing better in the gym. Is squatting 70 kgs much easier than before? Are the push-ups no longer that hard? Can you run for 20 minutes without getting tired? So feedback from your body is honestly one of the best ways you could track your progress. So back when we were working in the fitness school together, there was a gym and she'd be training while I was working. I'd often walk past by and see her casually just playing around, training like it's a walk in the park. I even caught her just laying down sometimes and she would not even have a single drop of sweat on her body. Now, when it comes to lifting weights, I often get asked, how heavy should you be lifting? And most people fuck this one up. I believe that about 90% of the time when my new members join my program, they send me their training videos for a form check, and I would almost always tell them you can go heavier safely. It's like driving on the highway. You think that the speed limit is 60, but it's 120. And you could reach your destination so much faster and safely by just stepping on the gas a little bit. Now in the fitness world, we have something called RPE, which is basically your rate of perceived exertion, which is basically how hard has your body worked on a scale of 1 to 10 after the exercise. 1 being, let's say you do 5 squats and you exert yourself at maybe an RPE of 2 out of 10. Or if I make you jump as high and fast as you can non-stop for 5 minutes with no rest, you'd be dead on the floor. And an RPE at maybe 10 out of 10. A general rule of thumb for weight training exercises is don't go below a 7 out of 10. On some days, you could even work a 10 out of 10. And on days where you feel off and you need to recover, you could even do a 6 or 7 out of 10. And on some other days, even an 8 or 9 works as well. Try going close to musculature failure, or at least 2 to 3 reps before that. Your weight training is the main course of your program. Anything you do before that should not take up so much of your appetite. You know, your core work, your balance training, your plyometrics, all these drills, your mobility stuff should be at most a 6 out of 10 on the RPE scale. You don't want to go into the weight room exhausted. It's like having a massive breakfast 20 minutes before going for an all-you-can-eat and drink brunch. And this is how cardio could be in reality destroying the results you're trying to build, because the biggest cardio mistake is doing it before weightlifting. Because after all that cardio, you have so much more less energy to build your body, the posture and everything else that you want with it. Even the time you rest in between sets matters a lot, because if you're resting too little, you're going into a war with a rifle and no bullets. You can't almost have a near-death experience finishing a set and then going back into it immediately. You need to make sure that you have rested enough so you can outperform your last set. There's no rule of thumb as everyone's different, but rest between 45 to 90 seconds after each set. Now, this doesn't mean that you can text and scroll Instagram in between your sets. Now, Ishi initially started lifting weights because I convinced her to. She feared that she'd get bulky, but you won't get bulky lifting weights. The bulkiness comes if you consume more calories than you should have, and then you put on fat from that. You get toned when you lift weights, and I always tell people to lift weights for fat loss, because if you do just cardio, you're going to get better heart health, fine, and you burn some more calories, but that's pretty much it. But if you lift weights, you improve your posture, you actually build the shape you want. You can't get a juicy ass from just walking. You get physically stronger to do whatever it is you need to do in your life. You'll perform better in the bedroom. You'll be pleasing your partner so much more. You'll improve your bone density and you just become an overall machine. So don't focus on just doing cardio. They're both really important pieces of the puzzle. And usually weight training gives most people the body they so deeply desire. Do you remember how irritating that knee was when we first started?
Oh my god, don't get me started with that.
Now Ishi is new to training. One day she was just so sick of her life, she decided enough was enough. And she used the cardio bike for over an hour and she burned so many calories, but she also burned all the ligaments in her knee as well in the process. So training with injuries gets tricky. Now I'm a purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu, so that makes me a black belt in injuries. Here are some important rules when training with injuries that I've learned from the best physios in the world who I paid top dollars for. Never push through any bad pain. If it's above a 3 out of 10 on a pain scale, stop. Something's wrong and you're making it worse. If you're facing a serious long-term injury, get assessed by a physiotherapist and then follow a specific rehab program for that. But if you don't want to do that, then you could still work out pain-free by using isometric exercises as a tool. So if you feel a bad pinch on your knees when you're squatting, find a wall, sit against it and just hold that position. That way you're not really moving that joint, you're just training the muscles around it and you're promoting blood flow to help it heal. Now similarly, if you have pain in your shoulder when you're doing push-ups, do isometric holds, maybe at the bottom, maybe at the middle. And also don't avoid the movements that have pain. You need to look for regressions that you can gradually progress into them, or you're going to be stuck with that same shitty injury and it really messes with you mentally. So always make sure you have the program centered around what you need and not just what you want. So when she first started, I would see her like doing random shit in the corner over there, like, you know, there's some planks, some random, like anything she wants. Like she was playing in a playground, basically. And this is called shiny object syndrome. It's like starting to cook a new dish and then leaving it to go make another one and then coming back to the first dish after a month. You're just going to be sitting with a bunch of shitty dishes at the end of it. Now say you're trying to get better at doing pull-ups, then your program needs you to be doing pull-ups week after week, trying to do more reps, use less support. You can't just do it once and then do something unrelated the next week. You're never going to make any real progress. So focus on making one spectacular dish that you'd be happy with. Now, if you're someone who gets bored, then you can do a different exercise, but it must beat the same movement pattern and target the same muscle. Now, the next mistake is one I made 11 years ago when I first started training. I really wanted abs, and just like you, I looked at YouTube for help, but unfortunately, I was terribly misled, man. And there was this guy named Mike Chang. Six-Pack Shortcuts, that was his channel's name, and he had a beautiful set of abs. So young Calvin thought, let's listen to this guy. And most of what he said was, you know, quick 20-minute ab workout, you know, eat these vegetables and they would give you abs in a month or whatever. If I had $1 for every time I said this, I could change my car's brake pads. Now, do not make the mistake of trying to train your abs to get rid of your belly. You cannot pinpoint where you lose fat. You can choose where you build muscle, but not where you lose fat. Now, saying you want to lose fat here is like saying I'm gonna go have a sip of water from just this corner of the glass. Now, training abs might make them slightly more defined, but you need to focus on that belly fat that's covering them. And the only way to lose fat is by being in a calorie deficit. So Ishi, what was the silliest thing you did to get rid of that belly?
I bought some supplements for belly burning.
Oh my God.
It didn't work.
It didn't work, guys. Don't buy it. Now, I was in the pharmacy with my parents last week and I saw my mom looking at these vitamins. And then I saw her pick up this metabolism booster, some shit like that. And I was about to karate chop her. But then I didn't want to get whacked with a slipper in front of everyone and cry. Cry a lot. So to help you lose more fat, supplements are fucking awesome. But taking the right supplements though. And I personally think that everyone should be taking them if they can. You can get great results without supplements, but it's like playing GTA. You can use cheat codes to finish the game faster, or you can try to do it without them. You may fail or take so much longer. All we had to do is follow the goddamn train, CJ. Now, there's a billion supplements out there. Some of them work, but most of them are shit. These are the most evidence-based supplements that you could take to help you lose fat. Whey protein is a great way to meet your daily protein needs. It helps you build muscle, makes you stronger, and it may reduce your hunger. It tends to make people feel so much fuller, and it lowers their overall calories. Now, creatine is the king of supplements. It's basically an energy source that you load into your body. And it's like having a mini jetpack with you. It's going to make you stronger, give you endurance, and go the extra extra mile with your fat loss. But two small drawbacks to have creatine: about 1/3 of the population are non-responders. They don't feel anything. So try it out, test it out, see how you feel, and you will gain some water weight. So don't freak out and start a scene. It's just water, not body fat. Now for the next mistake, I call this one the silent killer because it's so deadly, and I've heard not once anyone ever speak about this. And I think it plays a huge factor on whether you stay the same or lose 27 pounds. And that's choosing the right gym you're joining. Ishi, tell us about the gym you started training in.
I started in my building gym, which basically it's the most useless gym ever. There's literally nothing there.
And now, where are you training now? How many gym memberships do you have now?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ah, she has money, guys. She has money. Allah, send her your PayPal, guys.
You need to spend a good amount of time when making this decision. Imagine you were meeting Jesus or the president. You'd want to meet them in a nice place because it's important. Now, similarly with your training, choose a nice place because this is fucking important, man. Some things to keep in mind. Make sure the place has good energy. The people are nice. The reception is warm and welcoming. It's at a convenient location. You don't have to climb a mountain, wrestle a crocodile, and swim across a river to train. You might not go very often if that's the case. Now try going to a place that's near to your house, your workplace, and make it as easy as possible for you. Check if it's clean, has nice facilities, good equipment. A sauna would be great as well. And there shouldn't be too many shirtless, steroid-using, grunting wankers around you. And honestly, even if they are, fuck them. You paid money. You deserve to be there. Let them protein fart somewhere else. Check out a couple of gyms before you join one and go to the one you feel best in. You want that good feeling. And then training can start becoming a therapeutic escape. Once you start seeing these great changes, you might start to even love it. Now, speaking of therapeutic escapes, food might be our favorite. I'm a huge advocate for balance, not hating your life on a fat loss journey. And these are what make me happy. They keep me going. Literally, this is what's making me motivated to go train, work hard, do jiu-jitsu, lift weights, all this stuff. So make sure you have these things in your life and you're not completely miserable. But you also got to have balance. I'm always going to say to incorporate some fun so you're not miserable. But that doesn't mean you should always let the devil in your house. Snacks, desserts, and treats add pounds of fat. Now imagine if I were to lock you in a room with 10 jiu-jitsu black belts for 1 month. I'm 100% sure you're going to come out of that room knowing a little bit more of jiu-jitsu. Now if I locked you in a house full of treats and fun things, you're gonna become fun-sized. So if you can, throw out all the junk you have. It's not a waste when you throw it, it's a waste when you bought it. Or finish it and stop restocking. What I encourage you to do is this. If you finish a nice meal and you're craving something, go walk outside and get it. Because if you walk outside, you get some steps done and then you can enjoy yourself. And if you don't want to walk, then it means you probably didn't want it bad enough. You just think that you wanted it. And you would just do it because it was there. You know what I'm talking about, you sick freak. What are the 3 words I said to you the most since I started coaching you? I'm gonna punch you if you don't answer this.
Oh shit. Actually, there's a lot of words, so I need to think.
Okay, say the ones. Maybe we'll get it right.
Stop acting like a chicken.
No, not that one.
Don't be a retard.
Don't be a retard. Oh, I didn't say that, guys. Think, come on, think.
Move your ass.
Okay, I said that. Okay, there's one thing I'm waiting for. One thing.
Wait, again? It takes time!
Please don't make the mistake of rushing things. Just the thought of having to train and eat well for such a long period of time, forever, is honestly quite overwhelming. Look at it one day at a time. Tell yourself, just move today and stay within your calorie budget. Let future you deal with all that shit tomorrow. And then when you view it through those lenses, it becomes so simple. And I'm sure you're gonna lose all that fat avoiding all these mistakes. You lose 1 kilo, celebrate that. You eat clean for 1 week, celebrate that. Ideally not with McDonald's, but I hope you get the point. Celebrate these wins. And honestly, I just want to be very real with all of you now. You can follow the best strategies in the world, but it's impossible to stay lean forever. Now, Ishi did stay relatively lean, she did, but there were periods when she put that weight back on again. But she lost it so much faster than she did the first time because of all the muscle memory she built progressively, because that's life. It's super unpredictable. You're gonna have bad days, shit's happening left, right, and center. All she focused on doing was staying within her budget on a weekly basis. Because even if you fuck up half the week, you still have half that week to do right by yourself. But by avoiding all these mistakes, it makes it so much easier to stay in great shape. But there was one key exercise she was doing which contributed to 90% of the results she got, and it's the reason she could stay lean even without going to the gym sometimes. Watch this video to find out what the #1 exercise to lose belly fat is so you can start taking advantage of it.